Hello and welcome to Faces of Abortion. I'm Joyce Zunas, Director of Women's Outreach for Operation Outcry Silent No More. Faces of Abortion is a program dedicated to bringing you an important truth: abortion hurts women. Join us as we hear from women across the nation speak to this truth. In their own words, they will share personal insight as to the devastation abortion has caused them and their family. Faces of Abortion is also a place of hope and understanding for those suffering from abortion trauma. Are you hurting? Stay tuned and experience the hope and forgiveness I have come to know after multiple abortions. And finally, Faces of Abortion will provide you with practical ways in which you can help end abortion today. I promise you will be moved, informed, and educated in a powerful way on this week's edition of Faces of Abortion.
Welcome to Faces of Abortion. I'm your host, Molly White, and I'm glad to be back with my co-host today, Clayton Trotter, the General Counsel of the Justice Foundation, and Alan Parker, the President of the Justice Foundation.
We're glad to have you with us this week. We have a very interesting program, which is a little unusual for us. We have a husband and wife telling the testimony of how their abortion affected them. And we ask you to watch as you will learn something you've never seen before about abortion and how it affects the women and the men of America.
Real-life stories from real-life women who have been hurt by abortion and are silent no more. In her own words, without interruptions or questions. It is emotional, powerful, truthful in a way that you have never seen, most likely have never heard, nor experienced.
Hi, my name is Millie Lace, and I'm here today because I regret my abortion. Abortion hurts women, and I want those women who have had an abortion to know that there's hope and healing for you today. It was in 1979. I was taking an experimental drug for a tumor on my bladder, and the doctor said I could not have the baby. He said I should have a D&C and have it quickly before the baby's heart starts beating. But see, I was married. I was a 7 weeks pregnant, the health exception candidate for an abortion. And I felt pressure to make a decision quickly between my 3-year-old son that I could see and a group of cells that was the unknown. As I began to hear what the doctor was telling me, my husband and I even called ourselves praying about the decision, if that makes any sense. We called in our family. Our family loved us and said, you have to do what the doctor says that you need to do. So, to our surprise, the doctor did not call me back into his clinic. He sent me to a Planned Parenthood clinic. And I remember the signs, save your baby. I remember scratching down in the seat and saying, what are they talking about? We're not here for that. So from the beginning, it was a lot of deception. I can still remember the sound of the vacuum. It was a suction abortion. And what happened to me was immediately after I felt immediate remorse and guilt, I began to bleed. I almost bled to death after that because of the body parts left in me. For 12 years, I was silent. I could not say the word abortion. I could not look at anything that had to do with abortion because I knew in my heart that's what I had done. I had taken the life of my daughter. I believe my daughter's name is Jill Allison, and by giving her personhood today, it's part of my healing. And I think we have to answer the question, what is it? Because if life begins at fertilization, and it does, then we have to ask ourselves, is it right to kill? And because we don't kill dead things, right? I would just like to say that abortion has been based on lies and deceit from the very beginning, because Norma Roe McCorvey didn't have an abortion. And I just think that it's so sad in America that we are legalizing the killing of babies. And as a professional counselor now, I hear testimonies of many, many women. And what is so sad is that the secular mental health profession has not recognized this as a problem. We're treating symptoms today. We're treating symptoms of depression, symptoms of women trying to overcompensate, punish themselves. And we're treating those symptoms without getting to the problem. We need to allow these women the chance to grieve. And by speaking up and being silent no more, it gives you the opportunity, if you're out there today and you're hurting like I was, it gives you the opportunity to come forward. And there's such freedom in that, and there's a peace in that, because when you acknowledge the sin of abortion, when you acknowledge that sin and repent and forgive yourself, because God already forgives you, when you do that, there's a freedom that comes in, and you will experience God's grace. My sister's written a song called The Lord's Grace, and one song called One Choice. And someday I hope to be able to share those with you. And just to know that there is hope and healing through Jesus Christ is the message. And also, when we don't acknowledge the personhood of our children, then we can't grieve. We have to admit that they are a person and give them identity before we can begin to grieve the loss. When you begin to grieve the loss, then you can move to acceptance. And that's what healing is all about. Accepting what you've done, and then accepting God's grace in your life for that sin, and then moving on to help others. And that's what I'm doing here today. And so my prayer today is that America will know that legalized abortion should be overturned. I have signed an affidavit to reverse Roe v. Wade, because I will be silent no more. America needs to hear, and we cry out to America, hear our voice. You gave us a choice, but today hear our voice, that abortion hurts women. And if you're hurting, there is help for you. And the number to call is 1-866-482-LIFE, or go to www.operationoutcry.org. Thank you.
Clayton and Alan, we just heard Millie's testimony about her abortion experience, and I believe this is the first one we've talked about that had the health of the mother type reasoning behind the abortion, where they thought carrying this pregnancy to term, or her doctor, would be jeopardizing Millie's health. So her and her husband decided in a quick decision, without a whole lot of information, that abortion was their best option. And then we heard Millie's pain and grief because of that decision.
You know, Molly, this is presented as a health issue for women, and this is your health exception. This is the one that people talk about a lot. And yet the only choice for health was to have an abortion. That was what was recommended because it's legal, I guess. But they didn't talk about the health consequences of having the abortion itself. They didn't talk about the psychological injury that Millie has obviously suffered. They didn't talk about the grief that she would suffer. And we're going to talk to Dale in a minute about how it affected him. But there's only one side presented of the health of the woman. And of course, from your experience, you know, that health impact is a 30-year lifetime impact once someone decides to have the abortion.
Right. There's always physical and psychological health problems after an abortion, but yet Millie and Dale felt pressured by doctor and family to hurry up and make this decision, and never pursued if the baby